My wonderful guest that I have coming in today is Monique. And Monique and I actually met through the entertainment industry. And we actually did many gigs together and things like that. And we had a lot of fun together over the years. But the one favourite gig that I loved doing, and I'm sure Monique has, we all have very fond memories of, is when we actually got chosen to do the launch of Virgin Australia together. And we did that big launch here for Richard Branson in Sydney, Australia. And then we got flown the very next day over to LA, and we were there for about a week, and we performed there too, and both gigs were absolutely huge with rooms full of celebrities that, like you get a bit starstruck because these are the celebrities that we usually watch on screen or stage or even hear their music or anything like that, but they were here watching us. But anyway, that was a fun gig that we did together. And other than that, Monique has done many amazing shows, and she also has created her own shows, and she's also here to share special projects that she is a part of and that she is also creating again. And I'm so happy that we can share that with you all, and I'm also here on that journey with her. And I'm going to bring her in now, but before I do, just want to remind you all to head to my website uncensoredandreal.net, where you can go and see my newest article called The Power of Co-Creation. So I'm going to bring her in now. Here we go. Come in, Mon.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. Good, darling. How are
Hi.
you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on. I really am excited to speak to you.
Oh, of course. Of course. I'm so excited you wanted to come on and chat and share. And it's
Yes,
amazing. It's just
yes,
amazing to see you.
absolutely. Uncensored and real. I mean, really, it says it all, doesn't it? When I
Right?
realized that we were setting this up for people to talk and be honest and real, I thought, I want to be part, I want a piece
Yeah.
of that pie. So here I am.
Yeah. Yep. And here you are, sweetie. You're here, right here with me. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Oh
I
gosh.
love
Yes. So
it.
let's kick it off.
Woo.
Let's get
Yeah,
talking. I have to.
let's. So,
Yeah.
I want everyone to know your background of like where you started, how you got into it, or shows you've done, anything like that. You just give us a nutshell background of Monique.
Well, I consider myself a jack of all trades, master of none, or I'd love to say master of them all. But I think, in life you have to do a bit of everything and keep growing. You never stop learning. And the more I
Yep.
learn, the more I realize I don't know. So
Yeah.
that's really, really cool in a way. I think you have to get to our age, mature age, responsible age to learn these things. I have been
And
fortunate.
motherhood.
That's another like live right there. Um, for me personally, I work in, I say, the 4 C's: clubs,
Hmm.
corporate, cruise ships, and cabaret.
Yeah.
And if you want to add M to that, there's a musical theatre aspect as well. And,
Yeah.
I realized that for me, I'm not satisfied in doing one thing. I like to be really, really out there and try everything.
Yeah.
I don't like to be pigeonholed. And I think it's really good. I'm teaching that to my little girl, that you can try everything and anything. And you don't always succeed, but it's
Beautiful.
great to try, you know. So,
Absolutely. How are we going to know? You've got to
exactly.
jump in. You've got to try to, take it all in. Absolutely.
When you mentioned in the intro, thank you for that intro. I felt very special. Uh,
Oh,
that we did
you are
Virgin
special.
Australia. I mean, that was
No.
that was a great gig. It was very stressful, because we had a lot to learn in
It's
such short period of
huge.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, it was huge. I remember, like, looking back, you just think, holy moly, like out at Cockatoo Island, full of people, and Cockatoo Island, for people who don't know, it's basically you have to get on a little water taxi to get there. And
yeah,
this island was just full of everyone wanting to see this launch. And it was like, no pressure, guys, you'll be fine. Like,
that's right.
you know.
That's right. And then I think it was our good friend Renee Berry, another fantastic Australian
Yes,
performer and actor. She was with me, and we hopped in a helicopter with Sir Richard Branson and literally
that's right.
landed. We went a circle around the island, landed and jumped out, and then went on stage and sung and performed to our heart's content, and we all had a great time. And then we proceeded to fly to LA, didn't we? And we did it over there as well.
It was the next day. Yeah, we were like, bye, and then back at like 6 or 7 in the morning or something at the airport, and it was just crazy. And I think the jet lag, all of that, we were so exhausted, but I think that adrenaline of that room, remember like just watching everyone pass us by and went, oh my God, that's, you know, oh my God, that's, you know, you think, we're performing in front of these people.
All the girls from Sex and the City, and there was just an amazing, strong, fabulous actors, you know, Marissa Tomei. You know, it was just amazing.
Just sitting there and we were like, oh, hi.
I know. And it just makes you realize how lucky we are to have had that opportunity. And you never take those things for granted, you know. I think sometimes you have to stop and look at your achievements and go, that was really cool, and have gratitude for that. So thank you for bringing that memory back to me.
Of course, of course.
You know, and it's moments like that that you appreciate, but realize that, you know, performing, I've put all my eggs in one basket with the performing. And when COVID hit this year, I realized that I'd actually taken for granted that was my family in a way, that they were always there and I was always performing, but I forgot the fusion of family and that it really matters. So it was a big stop for me, and I had to really go back to the drawing board and find myself and realize it's not always, I was so career driven, you know.
And it's hard once you're on that momentum streak that you think, oh, I can't do anything else, like this is what I have to do, and it's very hard to just stop. And I think that's what the whole COVID thing this year with a lot of people, especially in the entertainment industry, is how it just stopped. It stopped. You didn't have a choice, it just stopped. And it really made you uncomfortable to think, what do I do now, you know? And I think that's been also a blessing this year for everybody, to realize that it really has stripped the layers off and gotten back to who we are and of what we can bring every day to ourselves, to the people around us. And I just think that was a very hard awakening, but very needed. It was very needed.
Absolutely, and it helps you find your true self, doesn't it? You really have to stop it and reassess everything. You find out who your real friends are. You find out a lot about your family and friends, especially if you're, you know, in lockdown with them. But for me, I don't know how you felt about it. Everybody has their experience, and I think we're all a little bit over talking about it, really. But basically, for me, it made me realize that I hopped into bed. I don't know about you, but I hopped into bed and I didn't stay in there for several days. It was like several weeks. The only thing that got me out was homeschooling. And very, 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 very grateful that, you know, my daughter was very, forthcoming in taking my advice and doing the homeschooling. But if I hadn't have had that, I probably would have stayed in bed, because within the 72 hours, everything was gone, you know. And so, like everybody else, situations and businesses all over Australia just were so affected. But I ended up watching a good old movie. I think a lot of people binge watch movies. I didn't watch a lot, but I started to watch movies that I loved that would be feel-good movies.
Yes.
And one of them was called The Notebook.
Oh, I'm still crying about it now.
I know.
Always.
I'm just going to change position. And so with The Notebook, there was a moment where Rachel says, I don't paint anymore. And I was just laying in bed, just a wreck. And I thought, I don't make things anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember as a little girl in a small country town that I lived in, I never fit in because I was always wanting to go to the bright lights of the city and do everything I could. I would make little craft things and sell them at the little craft shop. You know, when you go through a little country town and you stop and have scones and tea, and then you look over some little doilies or this or that, and you go, oh, I'm just passing through, I'll buy something as a memento. I would sell those things. And the craft store would call me and go, oh, you've sold this. And I'd come in and I'd pick up my $5.80 or whatever it was for the piece. And I'd put it towards buying cassette tapes or music or something so that I could save up to move out into the big city. Which helped me become a performer.
Absolutely. You're always driven. You always have that drive in you to do. It's Amazing.
Yeah. So from that, I thought I don't make things anymore. So I started to look at crafts and arts, and then I came across macrame, or macrame, as some people call it,
Yeah.
and fiber art. And I just thought, I'm going to do some of that. So
Yeah.
I got out of bed and I started to make pieces of things. And also it just started to make me feel a little bit happier that I was creating something from nothing, because I couldn't create on stage. I had to create something.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And the next thing you know, I thought I'd go out for a bushwalk when you could go out just for an hour or two.
Yeah.
And I'd been with nature. I could pick up sticks and beautiful bits of timber. And at the same time, my mental health was improving because I could smell the air and just get outside. Little did I know, walking is so important. Everybody thinks you have to go to the gym and run on the treadmill.
No,
You know,
just being out, like in fresh air, does wonders.
For wellness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So then I picked up all these beautiful sticks and bits of timber, and I came home and I ordered some beautiful cord and string, and started to make these pieces. And as I would do that, I would light the incense or essential oils, and that, again, having lavender or rose water or whatever it's smelling, actually helps with your brain, your wellness as well.
Yeah.
As I started to put all this together, you know, I realized that these were sensory pieces of art I was making. They are, and I also put beads into the macrame, and I would infuse them in these smells.
Wow.
So my art pieces became an experience. I've got one here, I'll show you. And so it would smell great.
Yeah.
It would feel great. So that's, you know, touch and the smell. And it also looks beautiful. And then you think, well, how can you hear a piece? What's that sense? And that sense is that every time I started to turn the cord or do a knot, I would say an affirmation to myself. I am strong. I am resilient. I'm empowered. I am loved. And all of those things. One important one was, I only compare myself to my highest self.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of people should hear that one.
Yeah. A lot of people compare themselves and go, well, they're doing really well, or how come they're coping really well, or how come.
But you know what, too, when people get stuck doing that, we don't always know what is happening in those people's life, because people only share what they're comfortable to share with you or with the public, you know, and it's almost like that's a thing that and they say it all the time, like you read it everywhere, you hear it everywhere, never compare yourself. Because we don't know, you know, we just don't know.
You don't know, and it's all a facade for a lot of people, you know.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting too, you know, meeting people and seeing them in person compared to their lives, their feeds or their pictures. They're not filtered, they're real, you know. And especially in this time of COVID, I actually took quite a big step back from social media. Not that I just had nothing to post, but I just needed to reassess everything. And I put
which is good to do. Sometimes you need it.
Yeah. And, you know, so I made all these pieces, and it had affirmations. And so getting back to the senses, you can hear the piece, because with each piece that I've made, I write a letter of what affirmations I put in it, right? So that you can hear the piece. You can look at the piece and then read the note. This was made with these beautiful affirmations. You can feel the piece, you know. And where everything, and all the cord that I purchased is all recycled bottles or recycled cotton.
Oh wow!
So I'm trying to really embrace our universe, because if we don't look at our planet, if we don't look after the planet's not going to look after us. But
no, absolutely. Why should it? You know.
You know.
At the end of the day.
So basically, that's the piece. Oh, and taste. People go, well, how can you taste a piece?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you like it, you've got really good taste. Let me just say that. But, you know, I also use cinnamon sticks, which are beautiful in them. And I also dye some of the cotton in boiled avocado or rhubarb or beetroot or different things. So, look, this is what I've been doing for my mental health and making things. And it's called Deliberate Creation. And I'll be launching this next week. So that's what, you know, I think creativity is really important for everybody. And I'm not saying run out and start macrame. I'm just saying everybody needs right now to find their outlet. And for me, it was art.
Yeah, which is beautiful, because it takes you back to that little girl, you know, as well. Like it really ties back in and it's done a full circle for you. And, you know, I think like a lot of the time when we do get swept up in a lot of societal kind of things, like it's just, we do lose ourselves. Like, you know, I haven't met one person that hasn't said to me, oh, I've lost myself in the way of blah, 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 you know, or hearing their story of how they've come back to who they were back in the day when we were kids and we didn't care so much. We were brave. We were like, you know, like we didn't have the fears of hearing certain things that blocked us from really stepping into it, you know? So I think it's so nice hearing that, you know, that continuity of like people's stories of, and they're all different, but it really is about making that full circle of going back home to yourself.
I think that's, and it's fun, you know, and some people laugh and go, oh, like you're making some, you know, doily, and you think we have no idea. It's this is about your mental health. When I finish, I've made something, you feel proud of it, and it's really good to get your cognitive skills going, and also just for your neuroplasticity, which is basically all those little pathways in your brain and all your nerves and everything that connect. You know, if we keep on doing the same thing over and over again, especially with COVID and people feeling depressed and now opening up again, some people have stopped so much now that the merry-go-round started, they don't know how to get back on, or it's just too much for them. You need to start doing things a little bit differently and try and really lift everything up. And for example, this is really random jumping in, but I brush my teeth now with my opposite hand. I'm left-handed, but I brush my hand with my teeth with my right hand. And that sounds really weird.
Really?
Try it. But what it is, it helps all those little pathways and everything connect, and learning something different. Learning art for me is different. Every time I do a piece, it's different. It's learning something. And everybody likes to be in that comfort zone. Everybody says you should be in a routine. Yes, but at the same time, we need to
an extent. Just to an extent, you know, you can't just be stagnant in a routine, like, because let's face it, you get so bored or tired or just, I don't know what the word is. It's not coming to me now, but just, it is. You just can't live like that day in and day out.
There's a lot of contradictory things in there. I mean, you can't grow unless you change a little bit and put yourself out of that comfort zone, you know. It's like my little girl, she wants to be in the entertainment industry, and I said, can you do anything but that, you know? So I had to sit down and say to her, out of 20 auditions, you might get one, you might not get any. I went through, you know, I remember one year I counted something like, 56 auditions or something, and I got 57 no's. And you're like, how can you get 57 no's with 56 auditions? It's because they sent one email of a no twice.
Right. Oh my God.
But you keep going, you know, it makes you stronger. So I'll just show you one bit of my art. This is this is my lovely bedroom, and we're keeping it real. This is my bedroom, but this is a beautiful piece I have here, hanging up here.
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
And this is another piece called The David. And my dad just had a triple heart bypass. And
yes.
And I made that for him when he was ill. And there's lots of affirmations in there of wellness and abundance in there. You know, and the one up here is like a cascading piece. And that is just of safety and health in that one as well.
Oh, beautiful.
So each piece is made as a creation, and this is a really lovely little piece here. Now this is a coil. I'm going to hold it this way. I'm going to try and get it against the wall. And so that's something really. Hold on, I'm going to hold it up. You've got to install these pieces. But this is a beautiful coil here, and all these affirmations that are in this piece.
I love that.
Are empowerment, you know. So these are unusual pieces that I'm making, you know, but I love making these pieces. It's something different from performing. How do you feel? What have you done time creatively other than, well, you've done this, haven't you? Is it your spirit?
This is definitely,
definitely.
This is something that, I mean, look, I was very fortunate because I was still teaching. So our teaching went straight to Zoom, which was very hard, I want to say, because it was like an overnight thing. So this is something that maybe I had done maybe one Zoom call, like an interview thing prior to using Zoom. So I was like, oh my God, how do I do this with like 25 students, you know, or whatever it was. And anyway, so I was fortunate to be able to continue teaching, you know, but that's not to say that it wasn't difficult and that it wasn't as fulfilling, you know, because you are doing double the work because you're putting so much energy into delivering, that really at the end of the day, you can see everyone on the screen, like they're working hard, but what are they taking away from it? And that's something that is important to me, you know, like when I am in a studio with people or, you know, on stage or whatever it may be, it's just, I want people to take something away from it. And that's obviously like a feeling, like, you know, I want you to feel something when you walk out that door, when you say thank you for class or whatever it is. And to just kind of go, okay, bye, and hang, and that blank screen, it was just like okay. And then that became the new norm every day, all day, you know, and that's very hard because again, that's kind of, squishing your spirit a little bit because you're like, there is no connection other than through a screen. And I am all about connection. I'm all about being there, you know. So with that, yes, I was grateful, but it was teaching me so much more about myself. So I had to dig deeper within myself in order to go, you're missing something. And you need to dig deeper, and which I did. I kept digging, and I always did writing on the side. So whether that was just in journals, like I would create journals and write. But when you put them into an article, like it's a piece. So it's like when I started actually putting titles to it, I was like, this is actually an article piece. Like it's, you know, and I wouldn't stop writing. It was something that I just allowed myself to feel, and I just kept going. And then obviously now, you know, there's a couple of edits here and there that I have to do, but I really do try to keep my articles as real as possible, like not chopping and changing too much. I just want it to be from what I've written to like what you're reading, you know. So that's basically how it came about. And then I just felt like, again, it's all about that connection. So I wanted to bring together somehow and just share our stories without looking at a script, without watching someone on stage, without going, you know, here's their performance here, they're a great person. Like I wanted people to listen to everyone's stories, you know, and just, again, you know, if there's any advice out there for anyone, then sure, like, you know, we're all still learning anyway ourselves, but again, it's that thing of like, you know, I've done so many topics now with, as you know, like Will, I did, you know, emotional well-being. So we're talking about mental health, and then I did with Beck, Mums in the Biz, and the, you know, the list just keeps going. So it's all of us that have had that performing arts background that are now living in the now and sharing our stories. And maybe we're helping people too. We're helping up and coming artists, or we're just helping people in general that aren't even in the performing arts industry, you know. And that was my thing of just connection, you know. So that's kind of how it started, and it just rolls. I think once you start, that's the scary part. But once you start, I mean, I'm still, you know, learning, and I am no pro whatsoever at this, but it's like, I'm loving the journey. I am loving learning as I'm going, and I'm growing as I'm going. And it's just, that's me in a nutshell.
I love that, growing as I'm going. That's amazing. I know, seriously, you've said so much there that I can relate to, and I'm sure there's people out there that can relate to as well. Everybody's got their own journey and their own story. That's right. And literally, I feel like, as I said to you at the start of this, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. And that's not a bad thing. And I think, you know, as I get older, I'm watching younger people thinking they know it all. And as performers, we see our younger generation, you know, graduate from Whopper or NIDA or 85 Village or Bread Street, all these amazing dance schools, and ones that I haven't mentioned. And they walk out, they think, great, I'm going to get an audition. I'm going to be in a musical within 6 months, whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to be a star.
And they don't realize, and there's no program for them to actually, you know, like a gym for them to go, a performers gym to go after these courses, and just for mental health. I'm sure Will's doing a great job with all of that.
Yeah,
type
Will,
of
I
stuff.
saw Will's actually doing stuff like that, which is
See that?
amazing because I said
That's
it's
brilliant.
so
We never had
needed.
that. We never had that, you know.
Nah,
Yeah.
nah.
And just those messages, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to be a sitting duck for a while. It's okay to have a no. And just the metaphor for me in an audition process was, you know, when you go shopping for a little black dress, you find 10 of them. You find 10 of them. One's got a bow, one's got a zip, but you want one a bit longer. You've got 10 great options, but you find the one you want. So instead of getting upset about it, like, oh, it was a great black dress, but I wasn't the one they wanted, you know? So all those mental things that you were sort of saying. And I understand you were also saying about wanting to have that actual connection with someone, you know, when you're doing a Zoom or a live, you don't really have that connection. And that's where we have to really be sensitive with people and ask them how they are. And the most important thing out of that is when you ask them how they are or are they okay, it's not just saying it, it's listening to the response.
Yeah.
You know,
that's right.
Because some people actually, I'm not doing okay, like, oh, sorry about that. And some people don't expect a response and they don't know how to react. And it's okay, you know, not knowing how to react. You just got to take it and go, well, okay, what can I do? Because, you know, it has been a crazy time.
It really has. And, you know, something that I've learned a lot as well is that I'm going to share this, and I'm going to be so real and raw right now, but I had an amazing, I had a friend of mine, Gina, who has a business called Awaken Soulful with her business partner, Elise, and we did a session the other day because I said I would love to obviously join this, you know, and have a chat and, you know, do all of this kind of stuff. So I got to have a little, you know, Zoom session with them the other day, and I just cried. Like, it was this emotion that came out, and I was like, wow, that was buried so deep that I didn't realize. I didn't realize that it's stuff that you also thought that you have dealt with as well, you know. And it's amazing when you're given that space to just talk, or you know, and it was just all of these emotions coming out, and I thought, wow. And then just even hearing that, you know, and I'll cut it short obviously, but just hearing that you're worthy of love,
absolutely.
you're worthy of, you know, just things like that. Because I've always, and you're the same, because we're mums, you know, as well. So we're the givers naturally. We are, you know, we give. You know, we mentor, we perform, we this, that. We're giving. And then as much as you want to take time for yourself, and I do, like, I really do practice that for myself each day, that I have to make time for myself, to center myself, to ground myself. But it's still that raw emotion that I was able to bring up that clearly needed to come up and be released, you know. But it was, I just couldn't stop crying. And the session was like 45 minutes. We were talking, and it was like, I was like, I don't know what's happening. It was just like all of this. It was just, I couldn't control it, and I didn't want to control it.
Yeah.
And it was just having that space to talk, having that to be really, really real and honest. And I just think it's so important that we find that space for ourselves as well. And whether you do that on your own, or whether you talk to someone, or just a friend, or someone that you can really trust in, you know, we need that. We need that.
You know, to mirror your story pretty much, your situation happened to me about in 2016, actually. I brought out in 2017 something called The Real Thing, and I put my life on a chocolate wheel, and the audience spun it, and what it would land on I would talk about in my life.
Oh, wow.
And in 2016, something happened to me the year before, which I put in the show, pretty much your story. So I think a lot of women do go through exactly what you're going through. Something triggers and you just release. You know, you need to hear that you are loved and you are worthy. You give, you give, and you give, and you give. And sometimes you don't want, you know, flowers are great, chocolates are great. I'll always take them. But it's sometimes,
me too. It's fine.
It's those words. It's just those words you need to hear.
And to feel it too, to really go, wow, like, it's true, you know,
Yeah, well,
and you think, oh,
and
it's almost as simple as that, but it's very hard to
yeah,
accept
I
it,
mean,
to be open, you know.
it is. And as women, look, and as men as well, but
Yeah,
we're told, you know, like Beyonce says, be strong, and, you know, we got this, girl, and everybody says you've got to be
yeah,
independent. I am woman, and it's great to have that. This is what I've my last week, my epiphany too,
yeah.
which I've known for a long time. It's really hit me. It's great to go, you're strong and you're amazing. You can do this independent and you can cope by yourself. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing
No,
wrong saying I'm actually not okay, because
yeah,
you do need some support, whether it's asking your mum to look after Bubs for a while you just
yeah,
have to sleep, or go out and say I'm actually not coping today, or whatever,
yeah,
or just say I just need to get out, or do something like that. Your story, jumping back though, with you releasing all those tears. Back in 2016, I went and saw a therapist, because even at that age, I was 39 at that point. Yeah. And as a child, we're being really real here. I
yeah.
was abused from the age of 2 to 5 by my biological
Oh,
father. And so having my daughter, I was looking at her seeing me, and I was having a lot of
yeah,
trouble with it. And so I had to go to a therapist to go, what's wrong? You know, and so, and the therapist said to me at the end, she looked at me and she said, chin up. She said, do you know something? You are worthy of being loved and loving, and it's not your fault what happened to you. It's not your
not
fault.
at all.
And I just needed to hear that, and I
Yeah,
lost it, and I cried too. And she said to me, one thing to release is to heal.
yeah,
So
yeah,
just remember that.
absolutely.
And all the women
Yeah,
and men out there, you've got to talk to somebody. There's no use holding it inside, and you think, oh, what's talking going to
no,
do? It actually does a lot.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I don't know the stats, but I heard on the morning show the other day that Beyond Blue and all those amazing, amazing, you know, organisations have been overloaded this year.
yeah, I
You
can
know, with
imagine.
people also that have pride and they're too scared to say
Yeah,
that nothing's wrong, you know. So,
yeah.
you know, it's
That's the
really
one
great.
thing too, right? You got to break down the pride, and like you said, it's okay to ask for help. And I've written about that before with emotional
Yeah.
well-being, and it's, you know, asking for help doesn't make you weak. It's, you know, it's
No.
the complete opposite, because like you need to shed all of that, and you need to like allow that to be out and released in order to
Yeah.
move forward and
Yeah.
to live that wholesome life that you dream of, you crave for, like all of those things that are so important for us as human
Yeah.
beings here on this earth, you know, like
Yeah.
we need that, you know, because we're
Yeah.
here right now. We need
That's it.
that. And
It's
I just think like it's so important. It really is important. And this year, definitely exactly what you just said, has been a year of, I think, that self-discovery of people,
absolutely.
of for
Yeah.
themselves. And
Yeah.
it's, they've needed to explore that. And like I said, it was very, very needed. And I think like at this point, now that we've gone, I think, again, it's all about thinking about what to do from here, you know, and I think that's why a lot of people have either started new businesses or projects or whatever, because you want to do something more. You don't want to just accept it and go, well, this can't be it. Like, no, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm not going to accept that. That's how I was. I'm like, I'm not accepting that. This isn't my life. Like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. And so you can be sad for yourself and get down, or you can just try
Yeah,
and pick yourself up and do something different. And also, you know, for a lot of people in the industry this year, they've got bills to pay. And,
yeah,
you know, a lot of them just put their tail between their legs and go, hey, I'm a singer by night, but in the day, actually, just here's my trade, by the way. I actually work in IT, or I'm not bad at baking a cake, or you
yeah,
know, I can do this or that. And so I think
yeah,
in the year of 2020, anything goes, you know. And
yeah,
so with my art, I've only had one or two people, you know, bag it out and go, oh, that's not $1 million business. And I'm gone, well, it's not about the
no,
money. It's about your mental wellness. I'm making these
yeah,
pieces, putting affirmations of wealth and abundance and empowerment and
yeah,
love, and
yeah,
getting
yeah,
myself from bed onto my feet. And when
yeah,
people see these pieces, they're buying an experience, or they've got an experience. It's people want
absolutely.
handmade, they want love, they want different. And I think it's really interesting, you know. Some people don't get
Mm-hmm.
it too. There are people that haven't been affected with COVID with their positions. which is good for them, but they don't get what we're going through. So it's everybody says we're in the same boat, but we're not. We're in different boats, but the same ocean. That's the way I say.
Amazing.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Oh my
again,
goodness.
sometimes I used to get angry about it, but sometimes I stop and get in their shoes and go, well, if nothing's changed, I can't blame them. They don't understand.
That's right. Yeah, you always try to get it from the different perspectives to think, well, they're coming from that place of not understanding, so of course that's going to be their opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's hard for them to understand, and then where it's not our job to to I don't know, make people understand either.
Yeah.
Like if that's their level of understanding, then that's fine. That's okay. It's not for them. It's for other people. So that's another way to look at it too.
Yeah. And, other people saying, well, this has happened. We don't know. For me, I used to work on cruise ships for up to 6 months of the year, which was amazing. And now that's gone, and people go, well, now you've got to be smart. You've got to work out what you're going to do in case they don't come back or you choose not to go back. And I said, well, it's not how smart you are. It's how you use your smart. That's my saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And
it's
my smart is making these pieces,
Good for you. And so you should, because you're amazing.
You. I mean, it's great that you're doing this too and jumping on and supporting everybody. We all need to talk and get it out,
Absolutely.
Taboo things, And now this is the time where we all need to support each other more than ever. It's getting back on the bandwagon. Everybody's got to jump back in. And there's a lot of expectation now that entertainment is opening up again. Slowly it's going, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Well, hold on. It's going to take a while for everybody just to support each other and reach out. Have you found with this a lot of people are reaching out to you or have mentioned how they feel?
Yes and no. I mean, it depends, because I think some people are still afraid to really be open.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. I think, again, it's the pride thing maybe for some. And again, like I said, that's fine. So be it. It's everyone has their own journey. And I have had friends that are going, I want to be a part of it. I would love to help out, and I'm like, oh my goodness, absolutely. Please, I would love to have you. So it's really nice that it's been working both ways. And then, I mean, look, even next week, I've got my physiotherapist that's coming on, spoiler alert, but she's coming on and she's going to be talking about, because she used to be a performer and then she went into physiotherapy. So it's she's coming on to even talk about that and injuries and rehabilitation and how good it is for our bodies and prevention, things like that again is just another way of healthy habits, healthy living, what you can do for yourself every day. So it's not just about performing arts as such, which it's important, because yes, I do talk about it because that's my experience, that's my background. But again, it's there is so many parts of life, a part of me as well, that I want to share, especially motherhood, especially things like that are still so fresh and new. I think they're still fresh and new every day. Doesn't matter how old your kids get,
Yes, all of all the mamas out there. I mean, I think we're amazing. I don't know how we all do it. It's just, it's a full-time job, and you love being a mum. It's the most craziest job in the world. And I think the responsibility too of us looking after our kids and seeing what they're going through and the tricky year they've been through, it adds another layer of stress to us. So that's why we need to stop, And I was going to mention, I'm sure you've mentioned this with other people that you've talked to.
Yeah.
Things like meditation, I've only started to do it recently, because I sit down and I've got all these thoughts and I'm like, oh, stuff it. It never works. But I heard a podcast the other day and I've been listening to it, and he just said, just for 2% of your day, if you can just 1% a day, sit down and meditate for 5 minutes, that 1% will make the 99% the rest of the day great. And I was like, So look, I've been trying it with Headspace, which is a great app I've found. And
great,
some days are great, some days aren't, and also things that I'm sure you've gone through, just your self-sabotaging. I've stopped saying that too. I can't do this. I can't do this business. Nobody's going to buy my stuff. What if I don't sell it? What if I did that? What if, And I heard another great quote, which is, if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them.
Yeah, wow. Exactly.
just, you know, if I can't, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. You know, you've got to believe
Well, you
it.
can't. If that's what you believe in, then absolutely, you're going to stay right there.
Yeah.
Like that's your limitation right there. And
Yeah.
I believe in that truly. And I have also, going back to that meditation, yes, I have spoken about it because it is a practice that I do, you know, as well for myself. Like, you know, prayer, meditation, like it is so important because, again,
Absolutely.
you know, what you truly believe in, like, and you've got to believe in yourself as well. And I think meditation, as I'm the same. I'm a thinker, and I've got so many thoughts. And now starting with this, I'm constantly creating. So I do have to get into that habit. Well, I do get into that habit, and I force myself to say, now you switch off and you meditate. And that's either before bed, well, because I can't do it in the morning. Like I've got the little one, like opening my eyes, going, "Are you awake yet?" You know, like so I can't do that. She's 3. You know, she's not going to let me go. Just give Mama like 20 minutes. I'm just going to have some time, and then we'll go have breakfast. No, I'm sorry. It's like, Mum, do you have one eye open? Yes, we're up and we're going. You know. So for me, my time is nighttime, you know, and that's the only time I can really just be on my own. And so that's my practice, you know, and I have a lot of guided meditations that I do. And usually I'll do a prayer and affirmations, and then I'll put a guided meditation on, and that will really, really get me centered. So that's personally what I do.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's amazing that you're doing that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing too, because when you go back to saying your affirmations and whatever, and what, you know, how we were always talking about co-creation, I think with that, it's like what people understand, and you've told me this before, we actually had a conversation on the phone the other week, when you were like, sometimes people just think, well, you know, I read The Secret, so now like I've got all these tools, but you know, things are going to just happen. It's like, well, it's not just even about The Secret, it's just about life. So, you know, you've got to align your intention with your actions, you know, your actions with your intention. Like, so what are you doing? How are you one step closer? Like it's things like that you've got to understand how that works in co-creating, you know, the life that you're craving for, the life that you want to live. Like, I think that is important for people to understand as well, that, you know, we're not gurus at it, but it's something that we believe in and we stand by. So it's like, it's nice to share that in order for people to go, yeah, like maybe I have to do more. Maybe I have to like put more action into, you know, my intention, you know, what I set for the day or whatever it may be. So I think that's really, really important.
I think it's important. And I find all the pieces that I make, there's one beautiful piece I've got in the lounge room, which my husband's on a Zoom for work. Hashtag COVID.
Hi, Nigel. See you later.
But it's huge. It's like 1.3 by 2.3 meters. Like, it's this huge piece.
Wow.
It's got over like 600 knots in it, different beautiful knots in it, and merino wool woven through it. And every affirmation I did was like, it was just strength and empowerment and love, all those things that I go on about. But this piece is beautiful. It took me about a week and a half to make. But you know, something's funny. When I wasn't feeling good or I wasn't connecting, I would stuff the knots up, or you can see one piece where I kept going. It was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you can talk to plants and it helps them grow, or the rice trick. You can get 3 bottles of rice and you talk to the rice and put the label on. It's true. If you can't give yourself self-love, and you can see it happening through the art. So I actually have to stop and go, I'm not in a good place. I have to step back.
That's the thing. You've got to really like come from a pure place when you're doing it, because it's a part of you.
Absolutely. And what I'm saying is, you know, also too, I make all these beautiful pieces and I go, oh, it looks great and it smells great and has an affirmation to it and blah, blah, blah. And it's all recycled, blah, blah, blah. And people go, well, if you're all that fantastic and loving mung beans, why, you know, why is everything perfect in your life? I said, no. But if I didn't have this, I would still be in bed, you know? So
yes, exactly. Yeah.
You know, just because we, you know, put all of these things into play, like meditation and nutrition and exercise and gratitude, it doesn't mean your life's going to be perfect. That's the other thing.
No, not at all.
It's a process. Life is a daily process, you know. And I listen to a gazillion podcasts and you should see my bookcase, all these self-help books, and I'm still not perfect. We take in,
but we won't ever be. There's
no.
just no such thing as perfection, you know, and I
But
think that's what
everybody's
people
different.
look for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We take in what we want to take in. So I can be cleaning the house and doing something and listening to a podcast, and one thing will stick out to me, and I'll go, boom, that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all that matters, you know.
Yeah,
as long as you learn
exactly.
something every day. But I think what people forget is they get into this rut, and they just need to change and grow and evolve. And for me, it was art.
Yeah.
In a different way.
Yeah, and that's beautiful.
Sounds tacky. I put down the microphone cord and picked up a different kind of cord. But
no,
that's great.
You know, and you're still doing it all though. You're still doing your shows. You're still performing. Like you're still actually out there singing, you know.
Yeah. Things are coming back slowly, and people are hesitant. But what I've realized is I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. I need to stop and see everything around me, especially with, I don't know about you, but my dad had, as I said, the triple heart bypass. This year I've had, and I don't want to bring the vibe down, but I've had 11 friends, 7 of them passed away, and the rest of them had cancer or heart attacks or things like that. You know, beautiful Michael Falzon that left us, a gorgeous friend of mine, Rita Savan, she passed away. And so, and a lot of people on ships, which has been kept very quiet, have taken their lives because they've been depressed, or it has been their life. And this is my family at sea, you know. So I've had to rise above that and say, I'm doing something for me, so I don't, and to keep their memory going through me. I don't want to be like that, you know. So I've had to make a choice. I don't want to get let down. And I just think it's really sad that it's been that year that people have felt so sad and so low that they've done that. So we've just got to rise above it and support each other, you know.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be one day a year it's Are You Okay Day. It should be Are You Okay every day.
That's what I feel like a lot of the time. Like people just forget to call now as well. Like, hey, like, you know, and the thing is, even with us, like we've got like, and I do this with a lot of my friends, I just leave voice messages, you know, basically instead of texting. I'm like, hi, da 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 da, you know, walking around the house, running out of the house, going to work, you know. But I feel like at least if I don't have the time to talk to you for like 10 minutes or whatever, at least I've tried to connect with you through voice, so it's not just words. So I, you know, and that's most of our messages. Hi, love. Da, da, da.
I hate your face. Yeah, I think that's
good
so
morning.
That
this is your half hour call.
I know. It's like, how do I do a live on Insta? Like, oh, babes, please, you know.
Mon's brand new to the whole live thing, so.
I'm going to have to learn quick with this new business I'm launching next week, Deliberate Creation. It's honestly...
And I love the name, really Deliberate Creation. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I have to say, I called a friend last week that I haven't spoken to for ages, and she was on my mind. And I thought, I'm not going to think about her anymore. I'm calling. So I pick up the phone and call her, and the first thing she says is, oh my God, is everything all right? You're not dying, are you? I haven't heard from you for night. I said, well, no, I'm trying to see how you are.
Say hi.
And she's like, I'm good. And I think some people think that you shouldn't have to contact, you know, when you see people at weddings, funerals, or this and that, it shouldn't be like that. So it sounds clinical, but something I'm doing other than meditation, nutrition, exercise. I do like a little app for my neuroplasticity, like to try and remember things, little games. You think it's computer games, but there's some really great apps out there. I also write in my gratitude journal. I write at the start of the day what I'd like to achieve. And at the end of the day, I go back and I have so much gratitude and happens when I tick them off.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And if I haven't, then I just do a little line and go, okay, it's going to happen tomorrow. You know? But I also, it sounds clinical, but I try and call one friend or leave a nice voice message for one friend as much as I can, like every few days. And it's quite often, it's like, oh, well, okay, why are you calling? And it's like, well, why can't you call? So I think we all need to reach out to do that.
I think so too. I think it's so important. Just, it doesn't take long, you know, and it's just you know, and like I said, if you don't have the time because you're running out of the house or you're just about to start work or whatever, just even that voice call, like your voice text type of thing, it's like, that's just so quick and easy. And then someone hears your voice and you're like, oh, okay. And then just hearing it back too, it's just so much better than texting. I think,
know, right?
like, I don't know. It's still nice. So I think definitely we all, taking away from here today as well is like connection, you know, and connection starts from us, you know, in order to connect, it works both ways, you know, so it's, again, about the whole co-creation thing. It's like however you want to word it, it is all, it still just comes down to that, you know, at the end of the day.
And also something that popped up while I was talking to you was a little clock and it goes, boom, you've spent an hour on you know, social media today. Just little things to make yourself aware, to better yourself. Do you know how much time we spend with our phone? I mean, great for Steve Jobs to put everything on a phone, you know, there's no more stereos or this, but it's just to maybe put a timer on, do things to make yourself aware. People go, well, how do I better myself? Write down what you're eating to see how much you're eating, and write down when you go, oh, geez, you know, or write down how much social media you're doing, you know, like, or put a timer on. Try and go to bed. I was going to mention sleep. I know that sounds random as well, but I listened to a podcast on sleep. Being mamas as well, it's really hard to get sleep and stuff like that. But women's brains, we need to protect women's brains. When you do a CAT scan or a CT scan or MRI, all those things, the male and female brain are the same, but what is different, you can't tell gender difference. But what happens is, as we get older, women's brains age much quicker. It's maybe because we take on the front of mother. But they're saying, you know, you can exercise your outside in your body, but how do you exercise your brain? It's inside your skull. It's doing all those little things like creating, getting back to making things, or brushing your teeth with your opposite hand, or trying.
I'm going to try that.
It's really interesting, but you get better and better and better. Writing your name with your other hand, it creates new pathways. And being a singer too, learning new lyrics all the time, it's creating new pathways. It's really interesting. And people that aren't singers, just hop in the shower and sing a song, learn something different.
Belt it out, who cares?
Reading books is so important too. That's also great for it too. So just the simple things, you know, the simple things are really, goes back to moderation, and the simple things are often the best. And just some self-care and self-love and giving.
Absolutely. You know, I'm so, it's just so nice to hear it from someone else as well, because like, I do find a lot of the people I surround myself with though, and that are in my life, it's, you know, you start vibing the same because you're feeling the same, you know, things like that. And it's just so nice to see so many people doing so many wonderful things for not only themselves, but for everybody out there to benefit too. And it's just, you know, I support everyone doing this because I'm that person too. I'm doing it myself, and it's just so nice to receive support from others, because I think that's just, again, so important. Like, you know, we've all got our own journeys, but it's just nice to support each other's journey if it's something new, instead of going, oh, what are they doing now? It's nicer to go, I'm going to support that, you know, and share this or like that or whatever it is. It's like you're a part of their journey. And that's what I was saying, like, I'm so happy you got to share about your art, because yes, you've done shows, you've done this, you've created this, you're traveling, you're, you know, you're superwoman mom, but it's like, it's so nice to just talk about what's real to you right now, you know?
Absolutely.
And I love that. I really love that.
I love it too, and I'm constantly learning. Like, I'm even reassessing eating things. I don't hardly eat as much meat as I used to. You know, like I went vegan for quite some time, and I thought that's great, but I'd like some meat, so I've cut down on those things. And my belief, like, you know, I've made a lot of big changes. You know, I'm always trying new things out, and you know, I have to also be aware of what I say as a mum to my daughter as well. You know, because she's a little sponge, and that's what we love doing. We love it.
They are.
They
are.
We
my
adults
goodness.
are still working it out. You know, we've got to try and help our little ones as well. You know. And
we are every little bit of the way. Like, you know, as we're seeing them grow as well, it's like a proud moment to be like, wow, like I can do that. You know, like it's an amazing feeling. And I could talk about that for another hour, but I'm going to have to wrap it up before the countdown comes on.
Yeah, I know. But I really.
But we're going to
appreciate
catch
you
up. We
being
still
on.
need to do that coffee catch up anyway. So
I
we're going to
know.
catch up then.
I know. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Life goes by, and the next thing you know, it'll be 2021.
I know.
Crazy.
That's all right.
Yeah. But no, thank
But
you very
we'll
much.
be catching up.
It's really nice to have someone take interest, and I really hope
Of
that,
course.
I'm hoping about probably about late Jan Feb. I'm going to do some workshops with Deliberate Creation where people can come in and make a piece. We do a workshop, and as we're making the piece, we're talking about mental health and talking about just letting stuff go that that people need to get off their chest, and when they're finished, they've made something and they've put their affirmations or their feelings into it. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be
beautiful,
really
Mom.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Please send it my way, and I can share that too on my behalf, because I know that people would love to be a part of that. So I think that would be beautiful.
It's amazing, and I can't wait. I think you and I are going to have a photo shoot in January, February, with Hipster Mum. Shout out to Jane. She's supporting mums that are opening up new businesses during COVID. There's one lady that
so excited.
selling medical products overseas, and now she lost her job doing that. She's a single mum, and now she's making cookies, and she delivers them all over Sydney to people, and people are buying them and they're loving them. So
wow,
she's gone from that, from like a six-figure wage now to just making a smaller wage, and she's okay, she's happy. And she's like, who would have thought making?
Well, that's it. It's not about the money, is it? It's about like what. I don't know. It just goes back to the feeling that makes you feel like home. Like, this is what I need to be doing, and I don't care what I'm making from it. It's just, this is what I need for me, and you benefit, everyone benefits. Like, that's just how it works, like, naturally. But I mean, it's amazing. I'm so excited. We're going to be doing many, many, many things down the track.
Yeah, right. It's going to be amazing. But big hello to everybody out there, and just remember, one foot in front of the other. And this moment might be a bit crazy, but if you zoom out, really, it's just one part of a whole big picture.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it. It's just one moment in time. And I don't know about you, but I've been through some stuff in my life, and I can get through that, and I can get through this. And
oh boy, yeah, believe me, absolutely.
We should set like a date. We meet this time next year and do the same. See where we're at.
Yeah, and be like, remember the art we're talking about, and then the workshop. Yeah, we did that. That photo shoot we're doing. Yeah, we did that. And then
here we are now. Yeah,
I'm excited. Bring it on, baby.
Amazing. Well, congratulations to you for everything. Thank you for having me on. Yeah,
of course. Anytime. We'll do this again for sure, because I just loved having you here. But so wonderful, so wonderful.
Keep strong, everybody, and just keep learning and growing and trying new things. Everybody gets stuck in a rut, but you can't grow unless you learn and you change, and just trying different things. And it doesn't have to be dramatic either. It can just be little things, day by day.
Changes are big changes.
Yeah, and just reach out. Remember the human contact. Get off the phone and get out in nature. And make stuff. Oh my God. I love people now doing coloring.
Absolutely.
People think it's naff. I'm like, that's awesome. I know a lady.
No, it's therapeutic. Hello.
Coloring in all the pictures. She took it to a company, and now they're making fabric, and she's making caftans out of stuff she's colored.
Wow.
It's amazing. So everybody's doing different stuff, and it's great. It's really great.
That's amazing. Yeah. That is so amazing.
I know, right?
So inspiring.
Oh, yeah, Lisa's great. Woo. All right. Well, thanks so much. You've made me feel great. Enjoy the day.
And me too. Works both ways.
All right.
All right, my darling. Thank you so much. And good luck with everything. But I know we're going to chat anyway. So, but good luck.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
All right. Bye, darling.
Bye.
Bye.